Hi, I'm Jill,
And I'm Gianna,
and welcome to the We Watch It All podcast,
where we watch it all and give you our opinions.
aka the opinions no one ever asked for. But we're going to give them to you anyway, and we're going to give it to you on a lot of
We're going to give it to you in
episodes.
a new format here.
Yeah.
You might have disappeared. You might have said, "Where have you been?"
Well, you
Well,
getting
I
ill.
fell ill, and when we
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to do Salt Lake, we literally recorded that episode. I fell ill. So I didn't even really love the episode when we recorded it, fell ill, and then I was like, no, no, no. And then OC came, and I still felt a little ill, and I said to myself, I can't do this. I can't record this right now.
So we decided to do a little more of a condensing because we really didn't want to. We wanted to review. That
Yeah.
was always our intention, was always to be a reviewer, not to be a breakdowner.
Yeah, because you watch the show, you know what
Yes.
happens. These are our opinions on the show, not our
Yes. And we felt
reenactment.
in review of ourselves, we felt that we were giving more of a play-by-play opposed to our
This isn't football.
thoughts. Yeah, opposed to our thoughts. So that's why I listen to certain people, is
Yeah,
because I want to hear
what they
their
thought.
takes on certain things. Because that's what I'll say to you. Oh, I'm going to listen to so and so to see what their take was on it. Because I'm just curious now.
Yeah,
So like I do listen. Sometimes they throw something in like an angle that you didn't think about, and you're like, okay.
yeah.
So if that's your kind of thing, then you're in the right place. If not, then you might want to go to
Plus,
something else.
if you may have said, well, why didn't you keep them single episodes? Because we went by thoughts. New York would be 2 minutes long. OC would be five.
Yeah.
So we figured,
If you're
what?
a housewife lover, you're a housewife
Yeah.
lover.
Plus, we figured if there's something like, let's just say New York, we don't feel like we have much to talk about, but Salt Lake, we could talk about a lot more. This will work better for timing and such.
Yeah.
And the episodes when we talk about them, I'll put the timestamps in the description. So if you're only here for New York or OC or Salt Lake, you can just look down there and figure out what you need.
But you might not want to do that though. You might want to listen to the whole thing because I may throw something in that's in comparison to somebody,
Yeah,
and you
we're
know.
easily distracted here.
Yeah,
So we could be
there's
like,
that
"Oh
too.
my God, I forgot to mention this." And we'll just mention it. One thing, if you have been here from the very start of our channel, from first branding, we used to do news. And I thought, I feel like we got to bring the news back a little bit
Well,
because we can
there's been
talk.
some news for these housewives
Yeah.
and the Bravo Spear.
So, a couple things before we get into the shows. Shannon, if you don't know, she got arrested for a DUI. She has announced that she has plans to enter rehab for alcoholism because DUI is a wake up call from her after years of running from her problems and ignoring her friends' plead.
Well, she's following the protocol that has been given out, the playbook. This is the next step. Enter
Yeah.
Sunnyvale, whatever it's called, that one that they all go to, Mirabal, I don't know, Maraval. Get into your rehab, stay there for
Till the show starts filming
till
again.
the show starts filming, come back and make your apologies, make your apology tour.
You're a changed woman. Not many can do this arc very successfully. I still think Luann has had the best
They
comeback.
they did the reunion before her DUI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's but they may do like a little bit of a maybe Andy will grab
Oh,
her
like a
for a
sit.
sit down,
Yeah, like they did
like how they
with
did with
Vanderpump.
Vanderpump, but like and just have I mean, she doesn't have to because she got fortunate that this was after.
That's what I'm saying. We
I
mentioned
mean,
this in New York, I think.
yeah.
We said she really walked away with the most perfect timing for this to
But
happen.
if she is following the playbook, that would be a smart thing that before it aired, she did do a little quick sit down with Andy.
Yeah, like in the
If you're
finale
following the
part.
playbook, that would be the next logical step is where
Or
you
maybe
bring the
after
human
the
side
reunion
to what
airs,
you've learned
she
and
goes on Watch What Happens or something
yeah, or
like
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
That'd be a good idea. Now, these two are in their own playbook here. Jennifer Aiden and Danielle Cabrera. How do they say?
Cabrero. Cabrero.
They got into a physical altercation. Both are suspended from filming. It says supposedly Jennifer pushed her, causing her to crumple up a plastic cup and throw it at Jen, and it drew blood. They are not allowed to
Like literally
film.
saying a True Blood?
Yeah, supposedly like it scraped across her
Oh,
cheek. Not like
those if it's a solo
solo
cup,
cup.
those
Yeah, like
things can
that.
be sharp like razors. No lie.
Yeah. Neither of them are allowed to film, even alone, as Bravo and the
Who drew blood,
production
do you think? Oh,
company
she drew blood
has
off of
launched,
Jen?
yeah, an investigation. I have cat hair stuck in my teeth. Hold on.
Well, I'll go while you're doing that.
Go ahead.
I do. I feel like Bravo is at this point, with all that is going on, is very concerned with being called out for things, especially with how Bethany is on a lot of stuff.
And she just, I didn't get, I haven't like really looked into it much, but I know she has either Nini's or that episode's already out or it's coming out. So she's teaming
Oh,
up
she
with,
had Nene on as well.
yeah. which is
So
big.
I think they're trying to make sure they're not like just letting these little incidences go now, where before it was kind of like, not that they let it go, but it was kind of like a little bit like it
Yeah.
was never really addressed in this respect, where somebody, there was a repercussion, like you were suspended from the show or you were on probation from the show or something like that.
Well,
They
because
never
here's the
had
thing,
anything
it's
like
always
this.
been rewarded,
Yeah.
which
And
let
I
me
feel like I read something somewhere that they were talking about the filming, like how Teresa and Melissa are filming is that they both agreed to be in the same place at the same time, but not like
talk.
talk or something. I feel like I read that somewhere,
I
and
will
I don't
say
know if that was a
most
dream I had.
maybe most photos I will say from group events, they are not in them together ever.
Yeah, that they've come to an agreement that they're just not going to interact.
Yeah, which I mean, it seems like so far it's been. I mean, clearly it's going better for them than these two.
Apparently.
But I will say props to Danielle.
But
She
here's the
did
thing,
say
if
she
you
wants
two are
to
not
throw
go
the first fist, and props to you, Danielle.
no, but that's what's funny is that if they're not going to interact, clearly somebody else has to pick up
Well,
the
yeah,
torch and run with it.
we all knew it was going to be Jennifer Aiden though, in this
Oh
one.
yeah, she's been looking to be the head honcho for a while, so I'm not surprised. And that's what I think is going on a majority of these shows. People are trying to step
Figure
out
out where they fit
and
and try to get to the
be
top.
the top dog. They're trying to be. I definitely when we get to OC, you'll see that Tamara is,
Ugh,
man, she's fighting hard, and
not
it's
good.
making me not like her. But
I know.
it is
Yeah.
what it is. And I used to love Tamara, but starting with the real. No, oh, you still have more news? Oh,
Yes.
slam it.
All
Go
right, this was a
ahead.
quick one because I don't have much information besides that Jenna Lyons is supposedly engaged now.
Oh,
I don't know. I just saw a picture on Instagram and it was like, congratulations, congratulations. And then I saw Bravo accounts being like, Jenna's engaged. And I'm like, okay, didn't know that. So
good for her. I
I
think
uh,
that's
I know the
lucky and
girls are
Jenna
gonna have
Lyons.
comments on that.
Did she share it with them? Did she not?
She
Oh,
was
yeah.
dating somebody, all that. Now this we're gonna mention because this is in the Bravo verse, technically, I guess. Trader season 2 has released their cast list,
Yes.
which it has obviously Bravo people, but they
It's
had
got a lot
people.
of housewives.
They had some people from your Love Island, your
Yeah.
Bergie, Sue, and then they also had from Miami. They had Larsa Pippen, and then Shaws of Sunset. They have MJ, and then they have some two good ones from Atlanta. They have Cherie and Phaedra,
Phaedra.
and then from OC we have Tamra. There's also a whole bunch of other people. There's like somebody from like UK Parliament and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, but these are the people
Well,
I
and
want
they
to
have
check
a couple
out.
of people from MTV, The Challenge.
Survivor again.
Yeah, it's a lot of reality.
Yeah.
Which I mean, look, so just stay in that realm and say they're all like reality
Yeah, I'm trying to
celebrities, or what do
think
they call them? Celebrity
reality stars.
I guess. No, there was another thing. There's another thing that they call it, but just stay in that universe and let it
Yeah.
be like don't try to bring like real actors or anything into it, which I don't think they will,
No.
but I think just stay there and like make that's what the show is about because it is reality stars. So like, is it real? Are they not real? I think and they'll stay successful with that show because
Yeah.
I think
I think
it's
this
an
will be good.
interesting
I think
show.
they have good for Housewives. I think they have some good ones
Oh
on
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, Sheree and Phaedra are like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. And Tamara, I mean, talk
Yeah, well,
about people
Lord
that you
help us.
can't tell if they're lying or
Yeah.
truthful. It's yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting.
And then really quick, also in the Bravoverse, Dancing with the Stars
Mm-hmm.
aired. Ariana's on it, and Kyle's husband Mauricio. First off,
Didn't do so well, Mr. Mauricio.
oof,
I mean, he did well dancing wise, I think.
yeah.
He was pretty
Well,
decent. I
here's
think he
what I
could go
think
far.
happened with Mauricio. And I think he assumed I'm Kyle's husband, so people's gonna vote for me because, ooh, I'm Kyle's husband. Guess what? You're not Kyle's husband anymore. Nobody cares about you because you're not Kyle's husband.
No, and in their minds, you guys are not together, and nobody really knows the
If you're
truth.
gonna
And there was
sit
too many rumors
Yeah,
about
if you're gonna
him.
sit down and you're gonna sit and say, "Oh, 2 Bravo people, who am I voting for? Mauricio or Ariana, who's, like, at the center and the peak of everything in the
And
Bravoverse?"
also doing she actually did quite well, like, that's what I said to you,
Yeah,
I'm a little, like, over the whole Ariana story, like, it's enough already. She's made enough money, let's move on from this, I don't need to give her any more of
yeah,
my ducats, but she actually was really good.
yeah.
So I was kind of surprised at
Only
that.
thing was that she was like, "Oh, I wanna move," she's like, "I wanna move on from the Scandival thing." And then she wears her
I
reunion
need a
dress.
dress, which
But maybe she doesn't have a say in what she wears.
I do think they don't to a certain degree because I feel like I've heard that somewhere about an outfit or something, and I think they do highly suggest. And
Outfits.
look, and maybe in the beginning when this started, that was the plan. So like to stray
Yeah.
from it now you can't. But I mean, who knows? Going
Well,
forward,
see,
maybe.
it's more like how much will she continue to mention it? But I thought we should just
I
mention
mean, for
that
the
since
first
it's
episode, I
premiere night.
understand it. If you brought it back,
Well, yeah, you have
like
to
if
explain why you're here. That's why she's here on
yeah,
this.
and if you brought it back, like say they had like a moment in time, like they do those theme things or something where something that changed your life. If she wore it then, like okay, then I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
So, but it's it was good. They have a lot of good people on there. So that's another good one if you're interested in reality
But
stuff.
now we can get into the shows. Let's get into old good old New York here. Oof.
You know what? You said it perfectly with New York this particular time. You're like, damn, it's not over yet. It's still going. There's still
Oh
more.
my God. It
I
literally felt
mean,
like here we go, here we go, here we like
what
I
was
just
this
thought it was such
episode?
a drag on.
I think
Yeah,
we should
here I
still
am.
say this.
I got the episode. Episode 11, The Case of the Missing Phone.
Still, really? It's too much with this phone. First of all, this girl here, Ubah, we're going to discuss her a little bit because her attitude was piss poor and the way she treats her friends was even worse. I mean, the fact that people were like, still, do you need me to look to see if the hair is
Yeah,
there?
I can't. She couldn't find the cat hair. I'm screwed.
I mean,
I
maybe
drank some water, so hopefully I'll swallow it down or something.
just like the cats do, just drink it down. So my thing is, I kind of liked Ubah in the beginning, and
Yeah.
I think some of what these girls are doing on all of the housewife shows, I have to say in general, is they're coming a little too hard, too strong, too
Felt
much.
like, whew.
Yeah, there's no wiggle, there's no bend, and I'm just like, "Oh my
Like
gosh,
they're
like, are
taking
you?"
the fights like to a like an unnecessary
Yeah,
place.
yeah, definitely, to an unnecessary place, level the whole bit. This whole thing, listen, if you just and I understand, okay, so if you sat down and talked about it, then there'd be nothing to fight about. But, like, listen,
They were
blend it.
setting up other fights within this one fight.
Yeah, but the show doesn't have to always be about fights. Like, you're in this
Yeah.
beautiful place where you could like do things that were fun. Like, actually show them having some fun for a change. Like, yes, I get to have the fight, but like the thing is, like, if she had just stopped and like spoke to Erin and said, "Listen, what you did upset me, and I'm going to tell you why it upset me so much. Is because I need to call my family. It's very important that they hear from me morning
Yeah.
and night. Now, maybe not morning and night your time, maybe morning and night from where she's from. So the time
Oh,
difference may
yes,
be different.
true.
So that could be
That's
who's
true.
I
You
was
know what? I
thinking
didn't
about
think of
that.
that.
But because you don't articulate this stuff and tell people, like she had no
Maybe
idea.
it's more of like check in their morning and night and my morning and night, so it's
It
multiple
could be, it
times.
could be, but the thing is, like, she had no idea what your problem was with the phone. She just thought you were addicted to the phone, you needed the phone, which as most of us would think that that was the
Yeah.
case. If you had sat down and said this to her, like, instead of doing, like, all this grabbing your sunglasses off the face and not giving them back for
Yeah.
45 minutes, and guess what? Karma got her, like she said, because it
That was the
was
only good thing
overcast
was
and raining,
at the
so it
end
was
of the
quite
episode when
comical.
they sit down and they
Yeah,
have to
she
talk
did.
with Erin, I was like, okay, I don't like once they sat down and they had their own talk at the very end,
But that
I
even
was like,
annoyed me, the
okay.
talk. But go ahead, you go
No,
first.
but I'm just saying, I was like, at least Uba was able to be like she had some kind of like realization. Like, yeah,
I
you know what?
know.
I tried to get you back and it didn't even work. So that's
I
my
mean,
like
in
karma.
well, yeah, in the grand scheme of her, like just saying exactly what's on her mind, she even says like the stuff that you're like, okay, nobody would admit that like you got screwed anyway, but she still does anyhow.
Yeah.
But that's what annoyed me is like when she went to sit there, like it took this girl like crying almost in a hot tub for her to be like, okay, no, 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 no. Yeah, I don't mean you're a liar, but
Because they
you
all
are a shit
started like
talker. Of course.
ganging up on her.
Well,
Like,
it was a very that's what I didn't
I'm
like.
surprised Erin even went to go sit in that hot tub with them
I
all.
don't think she thought that was gonna take that kind of turn
Yeah.
because she wasn't in the hot tub, but I think she just thought she was gonna be able to go, sit, whatever. She was still trying to
Yeah.
blend, but they were all coming for her very like I mean, and she even said that like I don't understand. Like all of a sudden you're like now you're bringing something up from months ago.
That's the
Why?
other
Because
issue too.
she did.
You know what I think the big issue too is? It's not. It's also them all trying to figure out. I think maybe the hierarchy of housewives, when you look at them in the title card, doesn't matter as much, but there's still a unspoken hierarchy.
Yeah,
But I think the new issue is this trying to figure out who's in control, who's the most popular, who's going to start the fights, has caused there not to be teams anymore. There's no more teams.
no,
There's
it's just
there's no,
floppy.
let's just say it's Uba, Bryn, and
Yeah,
Sai,
they
and
all
then
flop to
Jessel.
one side, then flop to the
Yeah,
other
that's what I'm
side,
saying.
and then
It's
oh,
everybody against one, which
yep,
it doesn't
it's a
make it
gang
fun
up.
because it looks so it's
And
where
that's
like
what's
if you're
going on
like,
in OC
oh
too.
yeah,
It's like a gang up
or if
because
you're it's like, oh, I like Tamara and I liked Uba, but now they're like
yeah,
gathering
yeah.
everybody to gang up on this one person who hasn't essentially done much
No.
wrong because if they I wish I mean I took it as Uba went, said, "Where's my phone?" She found it from Erin. Erin handed it back to her, and that was it. But if she didn't hand it back and she said, "Oh no, no, I'm gonna keep it," then I'd be
Yeah,
like,
no.
okay, I get why you're mad because she's not giving it back now
Yeah.
that you know she has it. But she, did give it back to you once you realized,
And
oh, I don't have my phone.
considering that your phone is so important to you, you would think you would know where it was every second of the
The
day.
second time
But
was
in the
just,
middle of a fight, you don't even know where it is. Oh, let me see. You left it in those cars again. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Because, like,
come
what is the phone?
on.
Only important in the morning and night, but through the rest of the
So
day,
what
it's,
happens if you lose it and like now you like what happens if she genuinely left it in the car? They took those cars back somewhere and now her phone is shot. Who would she have been mad at then? Only herself.
yeah,
Like that's the things that I didn't like. I don't like the
yeah.
way these people are these girls are fighting on this Housewives. New York and OC are fighting the same style. I don't really like it. It's a gang mentality. It's not good. There's no allies. I mean, Jenna tried to be like Erin's ally a little
But,
bit.
like, she couldn't really be there in that moment because she was doing work, so then she got, I mean, she got
Well, for
lucky, she
that
didn't
one,
have to
yeah.
be
I
in
mean,
there.
and I don't think Erin will really like even in the OC they said like Terry tried to come over and like get people to go help
Yeah.
her and they're like, "Ah, Hannah doesn't really need her help." And does she? No, not really. But it would be like it would
The
look
other
less like a gang is what
You
I'm
know what
trying to
but
say.
you know what the other thing is too? This is where we have our issues where we said they need these one-on-one sit
Yeah.
downs, especially in New York. They don't have that because everybody's ganging up on her that she has no one to go do a one-on-one sit down with. Like, yes, she did with Jenna, but Jenna to me isn't the type of person that's gonna go and be like, get aggressive and
No, she's not
she
going
went
to
because
stand up for her. She's just going to
no,
be
she
there for
literally
Erin, like
yeah.
in
Like
that
she did
like
go be like, oh, but can I have her sunglasses back? And she's like, no, I'm setting a 45-minute timer. And she was like, all
okay, she
right.
walked away and she's
Yeah,
like,
she
yeah,
was
she's setting a timer. Like, so it's very, yeah, she's not going to go against her.
I will say the sunglasses thing, she did admit that it was wrong to rip the sunglasses off her face. But for me, what I think it was,
The second time she actually asked her, can you please remove your sunglasses? And it is, I think, like you said, a level of
it's a
respect.
respect thing. Because here's my thing. Erin's sunglasses are so damn dark you can't see her eyes.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of like I want to make eye contact you and have like a real conversation. Plus, like, what are you doing behind those glasses? Are you rolling your eyes? Are you crying? Like I can't
Yeah.
really I mean, I need Erin's sunglasses. And I will say Ubah's was pretty smart. She said not only did she just try to take the sunglasses away, but she goes, she knew she has these like light green eyes, so
Yeah.
your eyes are gonna be so much
Sensitive.
more
Yeah.
sensitive. So she really thought about
So
this.
she was being like,
Yeah,
that's what Erin said. Like, oh, so you were
being
being
mean.
mean.
Like she
Like, you're,
really
and
thought about
that's
it.
the
And
thing.
I'll
It's
give her
like, she
props for
is
that.
mean. She can be mean. And they did try to call her out. Like, Bryn tried to say that to her. Like, you can just generally be really kind of mean and
Yeah.
vicious. And then when you do that, you lose the fight. But she doesn't even care because I think she's just
No,
so wrapped up in it.
I think she's so wound up on like you should have given it back because I need it for my, for
Yeah.
like contact the family, which get that part, but
But
it's
you
the rest of it, it's
no, but
the
that's what like
aftermath.
she acts like she didn't have it and she couldn't call them at that night. She gave it back to him. So
That's
clearly you
that's
made the
yeah,
phone
that's where
call.
I'm really lost
Like,
on.
yeah, that's where it's like, yeah, I could see if she went to sleep without it, but it is what it is. But I will say one thing, these girls on this show, I feel really bad. Maybe it's an East Coast thing, I don't know, but they have the meanest nicknames. Jenna Longjaw Silver and
No,
not Jenna, I mean
that's Aaron.
Erin Longjaw Silver and then Jenna
Jenna
Taylor.
Taylor,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just not sure like
Well, and then
who are
I
these
guess that are
people?
bullying them. I guess Jessel should be grateful that she's constantly forgotten by these girls.
I know.
Not only did the bartender forget her, Sai forgot her, and throughout
Bryn
her
forgot
Bryn
her
forgot her
at dinner.
multiple times throughout her sit down. Bryn's like, I forgot her, and this isn't even like they're not even doing it in a shady way where
No,
they're trying to
they
forget her.
just genuinely forget.
Yeah, which now you need to be worried that you're gonna end up on this notes list, which it's not like a notes of like proof. It's a vent list essentially. Like,
Really? Yeah, it's like a brain dump. Like
yeah,
where she just like,
which
okay.
I guess is better than maybe yelling at her to like
Yeah,
vent it out.
but it sounds like when she gets pushed too far, she's going to like just like bleh, like word vomit the notes list.
Yeah, which is
So I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about that list, but here's my thing. We said for OC a while back, Tamara's got her little notebook and she's filling it out. We were wrong. It was Jessel.
Yeah.
She's got her little phone and she's filling it out. And let's just say this, when she gets her new 15 Pro Max iPhone, she's saying, I need those notes from the iCloud storage copied immediately. She does not play with that backing up.
No. And the only thing that I have left about this group is, listen, they are one of the top groups for game playing.
Yeah.
Every time they sit down for a meal, they're like, let's play a game. Let's do a question thing. So this particular game is,
It wasn't really
let's,
a game,
well,
but
they said, let's play a game. And then they're like, let's pick our favorite outfit
yeah, which I mean is
everybody,
cute,
which
but
was cute, but it was like,
that's not a game.
it's not a game. It's the weirdest thing. Like you're commenting on each other's clothing.
Well,
Like,
that was from Bryn, who was
yeah, yeah,
absolutely
she was
wasted.
drunk. Yeah, she was really drunk.
Which we also found out a little bit
Oh,
about her
yes, they
job. They
actually
did.
what were we, episode 11, we find out that she actually does have a job. Is that what you
Correct.
said? It was 11, yeah.
Yes.
She actually has a job
And then
and
what did they do
apparently
after
is
that?
like a consultant.
Another meal
Where
let's
Bryn
make Bryn
cries.
cry.
Yeah.
I get like it was like a transition, like, oh, do you think they would be proud of you, Bryn? And she's like, oh, and then she starts welling up in tears. Like, let's see how many times we can make Bryn cry. Overall, the episode, like the fights could have been good. My issue was it felt like I think why I said I felt so long was because it was like we wake up, we fight. Okay, hold on, pause the fight.
Take a
We're
drive, they're
getting in a car.
fighting.
Pause. Let's fight. Hold on.
Well,
Pause. Let's
well,
fight.
Uba fought the whole way to the place. Then when she got there, they get out. There's like a mere minute of like them assembling themselves, talking about drinks. Let's bring it up again. Okay, drink now. Let's go away. Now they do. Yeah, it was like it was
It was like
constant.
too much. Like even when they were doing the limbo thing, it couldn't have been a fun activity because then you have Erin and Jenna
Yeah,
talking about it by themselves. So it was a mess.
yeah, pretty much. And poor Sai just wanted everybody to have a good time. She planned this trip out and thought it was going to be great, and it didn't turn out that way.
All right, so we have two episodes from Salt Lake. We have season 3 and season 3. We have episode 3 and episode 4. Episode 3 was All Tricks, No Trust. And episode 4, Don't Be a Drag.
So my main thing on this one is
Episode 3 or overall?
just overall.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because it was really iconic through the whole thing. Is Miss Mary?
Miss Mary is
Okay,
too
so
much.
in episode 3, she apparently, from what I've heard on the internet, has created the most memes and content and comments and quotes that she has ever created in this one episode
have
over
to,
her
yeah.
lifetime on Real Housewives. She really hit the mark so many times.
She is just, you know what? It's like I
I'm
do
not
just
sure
enjoy
what
the
she
contrast of
listen,
them extremely fighting. Like in episode 4, where she's extreme, they're all like going in
and
each
then
other
she just
before,
like
and she's
zips
at
in.
McDonald's, and she's like,
Yeah.
can I get a fish fillet, a 6-piece
Well, even
chicken
when they're
nugget, and
fighting
an
at the
80?
dinner in the third episode, like they're going to town, and then all of a sudden she'll just zip in and be like, "Well, you
Yeah,
were upset," and then she's like,
but you
"Don't let
said it
this
like that.
unravel you." Like she just throws these things in. So all I can think of is because I'm not really sure why she's there because she doesn't want to participate in the
Yeah.
events. She doesn't really want to talk to 90% of
Which
the
is like my
people.
thing is like, why are you getting in this car, driving all the way to these events just to sit
Sit
there?
there.
At least in the
Well,
in the last one, it seemed like
I
she had her own personal quest to get to McDonald's. So it was like, okay, you were
yeah,
using them
she
to
used
get
that. Yeah.
to a
The
drive,
my
but
other thing is I don't know if Meredith is exactly explaining to them what
what they're
they're going to
doing.
do. So maybe that's why she doesn't really truly know what
Like maybe
like
she
the
just thought they
thing
were gonna
because
be
she
like
said, "Why
relaxing by
can't
a
we do
pool.
more like luxurious thing?" Well, she may have said it was a trust episode. Maybe she thought it was inside. Like it was like not outside in a park.
Maybe
Like so
like
maybe she was willing to do it if it was but then she also said like I'm not doing these trust exercises. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. So when they see that Angie K's there, of course, everything goes to, you know, a different level. And we know that there's going to be a big blow up at
yeah.
some stage of the game. And it does come at that dinner. However, Meredith had set up, I thought, and looking at the both episodes, I thought she set up some really good things to try to bring these girls
Yeah.
back together. I think
Because
she
that
did.
is the theme I think of their season is constantly it's like, let's rebuild this. Let's
Yeah,
not
I
keep
think they're trying
fighting.
to yeah, after the whole
Because I
Jen
think they
Straw, I
get
think
that.
they're trying to bring themselves back as a unit, and they I think you do know if you're a housewife, you better all get along,
Yeah.
or you're not gonna have
Well,
a
because that's
show.
like I
So you
think you
got to
can
get
see
along to
that like
some point.
Heather was
Yeah,
starting off the fresh powder, and even in the preview for episode 5, Heather does mention, "Oh, I thought we were all having like a fresh start and stuff like that." So like they clearly have this idea of like, let's pull it back together, and then we can
yeah. I
destroy the
think
friendship again.
well, I think they realize yes, you can have fights in the minute, but it can't be so devastating that nobody wants to film with each
Yeah.
other because then you have New Jersey. They can't be that naive. I know if I was a housewife and I was watching these I had all this examples in
Yeah.
front of me, I'd be like, okay, well, let's not let it get to that point where we physically cannot even be with each other because it's going to be ugly. But they do have some main points here. Mary clearly is one. Lisa with the ring is
Yeah.
another. And listen,
Lucy's ring.
like I said to you, I understand where Lisa's coming from because somebody called me out about something at work, and I'm just like, listen, I didn't work this hard to have to do the menial tasks that you did, so I feel for her. Yes, is her main thing is it's that she lost a $60,000 ring? Yes. Is it petty? Maybe to you because you're, you
But I feel
know,
like if
but
see, here's the thing,
this is
her
the level
sixty
she's living
thousand
at.
dollar ring is
Yes.
your $60 ring
Yes.
when you think about it.
So that's the level she's living at. So yeah, for her to lose that kind of ring, and she said it was sentimental, obviously, it is a big thing. So, you know, I don't think you should, and I don't think Monica should be the one coming at her. I get why she is, but I
Yeah,
think
because the other
Monica's
girls,
trying
it would
to.
look weird. Like the other girls have like roughly just as
Well, that's
much
the thing is the
money.
other girls are not coming for her. So it's like, is it really that annoying, or is it just annoying to you because you are broke? Because I know, yes, it would be annoying to me, but I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, I don't have that
Whatever, just
ability.
like
Yeah, I
ignore
don't have
her.
that ability. I would just probably ignore her or whatever and be like, "Well,
Or
let me,"
like come from the
or
idea
I'd
of
be like,
like
"Oh, let me be friends with her." Because if she's got a $60,000 ring she can lose, maybe I should
stacked
befriend
on
her.
two other rings that
Yeah, are
probably
probably exactly the same.
yeah.
But they end up at this dinner, which is really the focal point of this episode, don't you agree?
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like, I mean, because 'cause they're really it's just them kind of shopping before this
yeah,
dinner, and they do receive shirts, which do play a part in this
the
4th
next
episode
episode,
that
yeah,
are the title,
which I
"All
thought, yeah,
all
no,
tricks, no trust."
no tricks, no tricks, all trust.
All trust, no tricks.
That's what hers said.
Who?
Meredith's shirt said, all
All
trust,
trust,
no
no
tricks.
tricks.
Yeah,
Yes, and then Angie ends up
makes one,
making
yeah,
her
in
own,
her
which
episode.
this is the big part because she does give out these shirts in like little bags. But here's my thing: Angie cannot be upset about this
No,
because she did not know you were coming. So how is she supposed to know?
and have a
And
shirt
listen,
made for you.
Angie, you should just be grateful that Mary doesn't want to do half these things because what would you have been doing for the trust
Well,
building
I was
exercises?
thinking that to myself too. She wouldn't have had a partner technically, so it would have had to been like another weird way to do it or something. I thought about
Yeah, so
that
you
too.
should be grateful
So it
that
did
Mary
work out.
doesn't want to participate in
Yeah, because
half the
then she
stuff.
can participate. But the dinner, Meredith came up with a cute idea. They were going to go to thrift shops. I didn't realize that at first. And
Yeah.
then when you saw where they were, it's like, okay, it's a thrift shop. And you're supposed to dress the other person in something that's not embarrassing or inappropriate. Although I do feel like they kind of did a little bit
Yeah.
because some of the outfits, I don't know, they thought they were good, but like Lisa, I'm sorry, what she dressed Lisa in was wrong. It was like some kind of like skirt and a basic bathing suit bottom or top, or I don't know. She was very not dressed appropriate. And then she ends up taking them to this fancy restaurant that I think was owned by Cary Grant. Of course, she's clearly we see that she's very concerned with her appearance. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I'm sure we'll get to that crux
I guess
eventually
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
I'm sure
touch
we
on it
will.
again in the next episode with makeup and such. But listen, that's her preference. If she wants to
I guess
always
she's
look
just
put
feeling
together,
comfortable, yeah.
I guess that's her thing. Yeah, she feels more confident when she's put together. Who knows? I know I don't like to go out without makeup because there ain't nothing good going on here. So I don't want to do that to people. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she looks bad. But everybody has their own thing. They get to this dinner though, and it like seems like it's okay. But once again, this is another group that loves to do games, or maybe it's just Whitney, I think, that likes to do games.
Whitney's in that more of a New York house
She's yeah,
setting,
she would
so
fit in great with them. She's a gamer, and but I think she does these things like to bring up
drama,
stuff. She
yeah.
knows what she's
Well, because
doing.
we play 2 games, and the
Yeah,
first game is
didn't
like,
resolve. Yeah,
tell me a little, like, secret that nobody knows, and everybody
yeah, and
says
it
these
didn't
2
go there.
Heather's like, "Oh, I'm bird watching," and then Monica reveals the whole entanglement to
Yeah,
the group, and they're like, "Oh, okay, okay, so now I kinda get it."
yeah. So they get who she
So then
is.
she's like, "Okay, let's play another one. Warm and fuzzy or cold and
Prickly.
prickly, I
Yeah,
think."
yeah.
Which is basically, you're going to say something that you like about the person and something you don't like about the person. So, of course, I mean, that's going to stir up issue. Because here's the thing, they could have been sitting next to anybody and it
I
still would
know,
cause
but
an issue
she
because you
also
still have to
said
say,
do it to the person to the
right.
right.
So for Heather, it was Angie K.
Yeah,
Angie K had Monica. Monica had Lisa. Lisa had Mary.
Mary.
Mary had
You were gonna get
Meredith, and Meredith
like
had
you
Whitney.
were gonna get
Like
enough. You were
it
gonna get
lined
enough
up
from them. You were
perfectly.
gonna get enough from the Mary to the Whitney to the Angie K to Heather saying one of them. You were gonna get hit off one of this. Let's just say
Yeah,
that
there was somebody that was
somebody
going
was
to
gonna
cause a
get, yeah.
fight. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
look, all we need is one fight. We didn't know we were gonna get multiple fights, but we
No,
just needed one fight, and that was perfect. So it does kind of start off with the Heather fight, commenting on Angie
yeah.
K. And then, it goes into Monica commenting on Lisa
Lisa.
and the ring and the whole bit. And then
And
it,
then I think Meredith comments something on.
well,
Oh no, I'm
no,
sorry.
it was
Meredith
Meredith's
makes her
comments,
comments on Whitney,
which was actually
which
good. But then Mary decides to chime in and start talking about
cause
how,
a
yeah.
drama. So then it
So,
becomes
yeah.
about Angie K.
But then
And then you can leave, but I can't even like. She like almost unhinged her
you
jaw.
can leave now.
And
Like it was a little possessed. Yeah.
a
I'm
little
not,
bit British.
yeah, a little bit British apparently. I'm not really sure how that
Thank you
happened
so
or
much for
where
pointing that out,
where
Heather.
that came, but yeah, Heather was the kind soul that
Heather
point.
with her 110
Martinis,
espresso martinis
martinis.
and her cat mom hat, and she still was able
Hey, did anybody
catch
know that
that
she
British
turned
accent.
British? Like it
Imagine they're
was
all like, imagine the editors were like looking through footage and like, I don't think that happened, and they're all just like, I guess Heather
no,
hallucinated that from those
no,
martinis,
it
but
happened.
no,
And
because Heather was still on her game
yeah,
with those
and I
martinis.
mean, in a certain respect, I mean, there was a post from Meredith that where she said, I clearly was possessed in that episode because showed pictures of, like, her eyes being crazy. Remember I said her eyes were
Her eyes
crazy?
were crazy.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
she
saying,
was
like, her
but she
jaw,
was
like,
apparently she
unhinged.
was, like, drinking, and
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
they
know that
was having
she
those espresso
yeah, I don't think she
martinis.
drinks as much as she did. She was kind of alluding to that fact, I think.
Yeah, she
So
doesn't look like somebody
no,
who
so I
would
think
be
she
in
was a
trouble.
little bit, like, overly lit or
Yeah.
served because she was trying to get that little skinny waiter guy to be
Stop.
security, and that's not gonna
No, he
happen.
should just been stopping the espresso martinis and that's it. But also, like, don't stop the espresso martinis because it gave us
Mm.
so much Heather that it's
No,
like,
I think they could have probably given it a minute and, like, they still would have been able to roll with it.
yeah, because I mean, they get in the van later and
Yeah.
Mary fights with Whitney and she's like, Heather, what did Whitney call me? And she just pops up. All you see is that top of the hat
Clear voiced and everything.
predator.
Yeah, because Mary thought it was pornographic or something, pornography. I mean, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
that wouldn't be, I feel like, related to the church. Predator and church.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes more sense, but it was good times on that
Yeah.
episode
Everybody
was chock full.
was on their
Y-
A game, even with the Lisa complaining. Sadly, that Lisa complaining does foreshadow into this next
Yeah.
episode of episode 4. It's a lot of complaining from Lisa.
Yeah, she
A
does.
little bit of a
Yeah,
Debbie
she does.
Downer.
I mean, but look, she gives those editors something to work with so that they can make a montage of her complaining about the ring and this and that. But I mean, it doesn't even right to the last moment. You see Heather in the van, which apparently the same driver is there in episode 4. So they're all praying that they got a new van after the episode that took place in there because poor Whitney gets stuck with Heather. And
Yeah.
apparently she's one of those that can't hear or see puke or any
And
of
she got
that.
puked on.
Yeah, we didn't really realize that, but she admits it in this next
Yeah,
episode,
it
like, "I'm
clears up.
sorry I
She got
puked
puked
on
on
you."
her.
The sad part is that when you see them, like, doing a long shot of Heather, you see some trickle of a
Yeah,
stream
they
of
never really
fluid.
addressed that if it
No,
was
but
piss
she
or
was talking through the whole thing while that stream of fluid was coming, so it had to be piss. So, I feel like she lost all control of all the faculties and everything just went,
faculties,
We're doing this again?" I told you that's what they call it when you lose control of your, like,
facilities.
faculties, they call it faculties. It's a phrase. Somebody Google it. Lost control of your faculties. So this one was what was the title? The second one or not?
Don't be a drag.
Don't be a drag.
Because that is they do the little trust building thing, which was just they were like walking through a maze. Nothing crazy going on here,
I
but
thought that was a good idea of
yeah.
a trust thing. So I do feel like I have to say these trips lately, how I feel like they've lasted forever because maybe it's just coincidence that New York was on a trip, OC was on a
Yeah, I
trip,
think it's like a
these
lot
guys
of
were on
trips
a
all at
trip.
once.
It was
I
everybody
mean,
was
this
on
one
a
isn't
trip.
that bad. I think next week we're
No,
gonna leave and we'll be done.
no, this one wasn't that bad, but I think it's because of the way they started that it was traveling to the trip. And yeah, they did end it. And then the third episode was mainly at the trip. And then this one also, but it felt long. I think
I
it's
think it's
because
because
everybody's on a trip.
everybody's on a
I
trip.
think that's what
We
it
feel
is.
like it's just trip, 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 trip.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Nobody's
doing
home.
anything. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because I
It
think when
was,
they're on these trips, it's what the issue is. It's like so much fighting. It's like eat, fight, eat, fight. Where they can fight. They cannot see each other for almost majority of an episode, and then we can get back into the fight where you're locked in with these girls in this little house. So you kind of are gonna always fight, 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 fight.
yeah.
Where I think that's what it's like. I think that's why for us it does feel like an overdose of fighting with them. OC New York. It's like we're all stuck together and we're all fighting. It's like, oh Lord, I need a minute. We can't have
Yeah.
everybody
It
synced
does.
up. Like everybody, these ladies are all synced up and not on their periods.
Oh God, it does get a lot, but I think the trust exercise I think was kind of good because they all made comments about how they thought it was moving in a better direction. And then when they go to have this lunch, the funny thing is, like, I don't know if you've noticed, Mary doesn't eat much of the food, but she eats a lot of like the McDonald's. She ordered a big ass order. It
Yeah,
was like fish fillet, I think
6 chicken
fries, chicken
nuggets,
nuggets. So I was like very surprised at that.
which is so funny because she didn't want the chicken tenders that the hotel
No,
had,
I know.
which is
Like that's what I'm
interesting.
saying. Like I don't think she ate a lot at the lunch thing or something. But the sad part is, I know Meredith is trying to build this thing up as a trust exercise for these guys,
Yeah,
different things. But I know like Whitney's idea was they all came there knowing this is what they were doing, and she brought this Angie K with the intention to have the girls try to like bring her back into the scenario and bond. But my thing is, she jumps in and says that she's going to take over and that she's going to have it, which I think was a nice idea. She was trying to have a group activity, but she
yeah,
did say, like, she's like, oh, I would have leaned in more to the whole drag because, I mean, obviously they're at
yeah. They were
Trixie's
at a
drag hotel,
yeah.
motel or whatever, but
That's what
I
I thought.
don't,
Like that would have been fun, or at least go to like a drag show. Maybe
Yeah, I
not at
think it would have
Joseph.
been yeah, I think it would have been cute because they looked crazy. I'm like, "I'm sorry, they didn't look like drag material." I don't know,
I
they
don't know
just
what the
looked
hell.
crazy. It just was not a
The,
good look.
the big issue with this though is that Lisa doesn't want to do
Yeah.
the makeup. Which here's my thing. I get it. You flew somebody in, but you're there for like what, 3 different nights? You couldn't
Have them
just
do
one
drag
night.
makeup on you. I'm
That's what I'm
sure
saying.
they
Why don't you
know.
compromise and just say, listen, guys, I don't want to do it myself, but then
I'm gonna let them do
can
it.
they do my makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah, like then I feel like okay. I mean,
Yeah,
she ended up having the lady do her makeup anyway, but it was just kind of like she hung on to this for so long and it was such a
yeah.
buzzkill. Like I
It was
just
like 5, 10
like
minutes worth of
like come on, house like
footage.
this would be fun. Have some fun. Put drag makeup on and like Trixie bought
I think she would have been
their
okay with it if
actual wigs.
they
Like
weren't going somewhere. Like, I think if they were just
see,
staying
they
there,
did
and
go
I
and get
think that's
changed, some of them, so I think she would have said, "If I do it and you allow me time before we go out to dinner to take it off, is that okay?" You know what I mean? I
yeah.
think then maybe, or if they were gonna have, like, maybe, like, a dinner like a catered dinner
I
by the
just think
pool.
after the other one where Meredith dressed her and she felt inappropriate, like, I don't think she was willing to give
Yeah.
an
Even
inch
they
on
went
this
to, like,
one.
a bar, they didn't really even go
Yeah.
anywhere, like, anywhere, like, which is kind of like I was just like, it was a little buzzkill to me because it's like, just have some fun.
Yeah, and again, with, like, the fights on this one, it's again kind of, like, constant. It's like, "Let's bring the same fight up again, let's bring the same fight up again, let's bring the same"
Well,
like, and
they were
Monica is doing that now with
legitimately
the ring again.
circling
Yeah, like,
at this bar where, like, they would move in and when you would be like, "Could you just scoot over?
oh
Could you
my
just"
god, they were going back and forth,
because
like,
they were
it
just,
was
like,
like
circling through the groups, like, they would just, like, rotate like a revolving door. One lady would come in, the next one would leave, come back in. So they'd be like, "What did you just say? I just heard you say something about that." And, like, it was like, "Huh?" And then Angie K's saying that Meredith looks like a trampoline with a face.
yeah,
What
because
even
Meredith
is that?
Meredith said she attacked her like an animal.
Like
Okay,
a pit bull is what
well,
she
sh
said.
I think she said an animal at first, and then somehow the word pit bull came into play. But listen, these girls are taking and everybody they all do it in all the housewives. Every word is so literal. Like, if you were to say that to somebody, that just means that you're coming so aggressively at them,
Yeah.
but instead they take it like you're calling them a dog. You're referencing to them as a dog, which, yes, technically you are, but that's not how she's using
Yeah.
it. She's not saying you look like a dog or you are a dog. She's saying you came as aggressive as a pit bull would come at me. They're aggressive. They're like, they don't let go until they get what they're
Yeah.
doing or whatever. That's what she was trying to like the point. And they missed the point. They all missed the point. The only other fight that I have to say that I don't understand
Yeah.
is Monica. I don't understand where I know she's trying to be like get in there, get in that group, and I'm sure she's trying to figure out which girl is the girl to latch on to.
Yeah.
First it was Angie K and Lisa, then it was Meredith. It's like I can't really figure out who she's trying
I would
to.
go with Heather. I don't know why she's not going for that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
I feel
her
like it would come
fights
from
don't
the
make
Jen
sense.
Shaw.
Like she brings back up with the ring
Yeah,
again.
it's a little
Like it's like,
much.
but what I don't understand what you want her to do because I don't really feel like she was talking about the ring this much in this
Not
episode.
this episode, no.
So it's like, I don't understand what she wants her to do. Like,
Like
it's
sometimes
not
the
her
fights are
problem that
stupid
you have the life
because
you have. Like, you can't blame her because you're where you are and she's where she
it is
is.
like even with Erin, she was like, I don't know what you want me to do about this
Yeah.
anymore. Like that's their situation is they get to the point where they make these fights where there's nothing they can do
There's no
about it. We
resolve.
just have
There's
to
no
move on.
resolve. Yeah. Like, you need to let it go, or I don't know. There's no resolve to it. So,
My other thing with her was that Angie K said something about stop pretending like you don't know Jen Shaw, which is so weird because literally her
they,
first episode
yeah,
in, Monica comes out and says,
that
I
was
was
her.
basically an
Yeah.
informant. And here's my thing, unless when they started filming this, because obviously sit downs are not filmed 100% in real time with what they're doing.
Oh, it was because she was saying something about not having money or something like that. And she was saying you worked for Jen Shaw, like stop acting like you weren't getting paid. There's no
Yeah.
way you were doing stuff for her for free. And like she was trying to say
I don't
that.
know. They made it sound like though, like she was trying to pretend like
Yeah.
she didn't know Jen Shaw. And
That's
the
yeah,
only thing I
Angie
could think is
basically said that.
maybe when they were filming the filming aspect, she was gonna pretend she didn't know much about Jen Shaw, and then the producers were like, "No, you should lean into that and
Yeah.
make that your storyline." Hence, why she did come all out about it in the first episode. Sit down. That's the only thing I could think.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean no offense, but that's the most interesting part about Monica is
It is.
I'm like
I'm
when
waiting
are we
for
gonna get
more.
our
Yeah,
next juicy detail on
I'm
Jen?
waiting more about that too, like what went on there. But
Yeah,
so it kind of ends with them all like getting back into that van and that's that.
yeah.
Like smelling the fries and questioning the puke and yeah. Now if we're really gonna talk about ladies that are
Oof, oof, oof,
fighting for
oof.
no reason and making up fights, we really would have to go
We
on to
can
the OC ladies.
let's oh, well, I was gonna say let's take it across the coast, but no.
Yeah, no.
let's just drive on over to the OC. We're already in Palm Springs. We'll take a little trip over to the OC for episodes 15 and 16, The Tipping
Mm.
Point, and Welcome to the Freak Show. So we're talking about the finale here as well. So we have the end of the trip for 15 is pretty much what this is. So I'm going to say this. The real reason we didn't end up doing 15 and was what made us change this was like, I don't know what I want to say about this girls' trip because it was the same thing every time and it was annoying and it was annoying to watch.
You're really
And
shaking the couch. Like,
I'm
you're kidding
sorry,
me.
I am.
Gotta call you out when I
I'm,
can. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
getting
really
a
like,
little passionate
I'm really
here.
like hearing creaking. God.
But the issue was that this is the main plot for the episode. Heather, there's this loser comment that apparently Heather said, and it's getting taken and twisted about this BravoCon loser comment or something. There's apparently two different ones. Or there's,
I love though that they're pulling things from the outside world into the
I
real.
know.
I mean, it's yeah, it's
But
great.
the issue is what Heather's trying to say is the loser she's referring to is Noella and Jen, old Jen, not our Jen. That's who she was trying to call the losers,
Hmm.
not Emily and Gina, which rightfully so. But also look at these two; they're not even on the show, and they're completely getting caught up in the drama on accident now.
There you go.
And she's saying this to Gina, to Gina's face. We're like, we have this like weird thing where like Gina was like being like, oh, I agree with Heather, I agree with Heather. And then all of a sudden she heard about this comment. And she's like, she's blindsided. And
Yeah,
Gina
that's what
and
annoys
Heather's
me.
saying it right to her face. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about Noella
No, they
and
can't
Jen.
hear it.
It's and she nothing. And then Vicky ends up leaving and like Vicky's the voice of reason, like where they're ganging up on you, which is like, huh,
Yeah,
what
I
the hell?
can't. I can't.
Which
Mm-mm-mm.
makes it so to me it was just like I can't believe this is what we're watching because the other thing is I know housewife at its core is taking some words and twisting them always that's that's how you get a good fight going is
Yeah,
you twist them a little bit but it's
but this is
you're not even
ridiculous.
twisting we're
No.
not listening
Yeah.
listening ears where
Yeah.
are they
No, they're not
because
listening at
it's
all.
like oh my god and it's frustrating to watch because well, I'm literally watching her
Yeah,
tell you
and
right now
you're
there's
like,
no
why
miscommunication we're
can't you
watching
hear
it
what I can hear? Because I can clearly hear it. You're just not listening. Well, here's my thing. It's not that they're not listening. They aren't listening, but they're just assuming that because Tamara is saying, I never said that, she said it. Why is Tamara right? Why isn't it Heather that's right? Why isn't it this one? Like, why is it that Tamara is the one that didn't do like the one that didn't say it? Like, why are they all
yeah
assuming like where's the proof? Where like Heather comes in this second episode and she brings the proof that shows her saying it. Now listen, maybe she was mocking Heather, maybe she was, who we don't know. The fact is, those words came out of Tamara's mouth. There's nobody that has proof that she actually made this comment aside from
Yeah,
Tamara.
they all have
Who
just on
has
notebooks. No proof. It's
no,
just your
just
thoughts.
yeah, it's just stuff I wrote down. But
Where
this
Heather
is
went and she said,
she
I'm gonna
and
listen through this.
she said that in the end of the episode that I have stuff and I'll use it when I have to. She said though, like this is the thing. It's like it's bashing episode in one and then it's rebashing in the second. They are just coming for Heather and the really actually I shouldn't say they're coming for Heather. Tamara's coming for Heather. I
Yeah,
think
at its
Tamara
core.
thinks that if she is going to have any longevity in this,
Yeah.
she needs to get rid of Heather. I truly believe, or have Heather be the villain to everybody,
Here's my
which
thing.
is sad because that just
No,
means you're afraid.
I think Tamara came back with the mentality of, I gotta show everybody what they missed while I was gone. Because they did come from such a crappy season prior.
Mhm.
So anything you were gonna do was going to be better than last season.
Yeah.
Without her being there, she's gonna show what I did, what you missed. Like, look at why'd you get rid of me? But this is not fun fighting. Like
No.
Heather said, like this is just it's
Mean.
mean. It's
Yeah,
like
it's a
there's
lot of mean.
nothing fun about this.
No.
You're it's not the same Tamara who could stir up drama, who threw wine in people's face, who knew how to stir the pot and have a good fight. This is mean. And I think the main, for me, the main key point that came out of this, and I think Heather explained it well, is that Tamara does want to be the main person. She wants to be on top, and
Yeah, the
and
cheerleader, the head cheerleader.
Emily and I think mostly Emily. I don't know about Gina. I think Gina's in the middle. I think Emily wants to be a part of this like hierarchy all of a sudden, where she wants to move up and be in the top of the house. Which
Yeah,
I think
no,
Gina is
definitely.
content to be in the middle. She's
I
in
think
the
she likes when everybody likes her, Gina. I do
yeah.
think that, but I don't yeah, I don't
Yeah, because Heather even said, I think Emily's learned from Tamara. And I think she is. Like, her tactics are very, very similar to her. For me, overall in this season, I would say if we redid this whole season, pluck Tamara out of it, let it play out exactly the same, I actually think Emily and Gina would probably side with Heather.
No, they would side with Heather because I think they know that she's probably not
Like, I think
in.
if you actually put in a random housewife, somebody new, somebody we never met, and she played the role of
Oh, no,
Tamara,
because they
I think it
also
would place totally different.
they also still want to be on top, and Heather would be the top. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying Tamara's coming for her. She's doing what she actually
Um,
says. She's circling all the wagons so that she has all the girls on her side. Because when you get to that second episode, she starts talking about Heather's circling the wagons. But the minute anyone goes up to Heather, now keep in mind, Heather's not going up to them to talk.
yeah.
They're coming to her to talk. When like Emily goes to talk to her, Gina goes to talk to her, Tamara is standing at another table going, "I am
You
fuming.
mean
I am livid.
watching it?
I'm watching," and I'm
You know
like,
what I was
"What
getting
are
in my
you
head?
doing? What?"
I was getting Lisa Rinna and Dorinda flashbacks of like their downfall. And here's my thing. I was originally when I first started talking about OC, I was like, oh, Shannon's in her, like she's having her downfall, but I don't think so. I think Shannon just has a lot of personal things going on outside of Housewives. If you're gonna have your housewife on pause downfall, like Dorinda and Lisa, it's more something that goes on in the show. And I think
Yeah.
that's what Tamara's doing. I just think somehow she's getting away with it, like weirdly. That I
Yeah,
think.
I think because they think they needed something new in the show or something to spice it, bring it back to life, something like that. But my thing is, she is so
Spicy.
hyper.
They dropped the cap and let the whole bottle fall in the pot. It's too much.
It
It's
is. It is.
spicy.
It's absolutely too much because she is watching her every move. She sees her, oh, she's over there with what's the, she's over there with this one, or she's over there with that. Like, what do you care what they're talking about? And here's my thing. If they make up, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Like she's assuming that she's over there, and the only way she's making up with Emily is because she's bashing her.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever think
Well,
maybe
that's
they're
it. And
just
like all these
working out
times,
whatever their issues
Gina's
are?
having a suddenly defending Heather, and it's like, well, because she just heard the truth. She played
Yeah,
the
but
the
what's the
the
difference?
clip.
Like, just let her be like, or just like if she kind of said to them, like, oh, we had just basically we came to an agreement, we came to a fine, whatever. Okay, great, let it be. I didn't hear any words that said she bashed you. She did end up saying something in the end, but in the beginning part before she went crazy, like she didn't say anything like, oh, she threw you under the bus. That's why I agree with her now. Like, but Tamara, because she probably knows a lot of it is like half and half assed and it's not true. I mean, my thing with these girls is the same thing with New York and the same thing with Salt Lake. They just keep bringing up the same stuff. You either
Yeah.
got to let it go. Like in the episode before this one, they kept like Emily brought up the snuffleupagus again. Like listen, either like that's what they were bashing Heather for, like stuff that's been like dealt with and squashed, and like did they really deal with it? Because I'm tired of hearing like figure it out, ladies, and like let's just
Yeah, because
move.
here's my thing. I feel like back in the day, they'd have a fight. They wouldn't really talk about that fight, and then they'd move on to a whole new fight. And it's like, I think that's the issue. It's like it's one long same fight throughout the whole season. Like we don't really like move around. We don't really do any other real fights. I
No,
mean, I
you
know
can
like they said they had the Jen,
No,
but
but you can feel that this whole thing, now that this is like the finale, you can feel that they were clearly building up to this like Heather storyline where they were going to all attack her. And I'm not surprised because that's the easiest mark is for Tamara to come back, befriend her, and then attack her. That's
yeah,
like the easiest storyline, and it almost makes you feel like she did that. I just have a couple of things so that I want to go back to in the third episode that was quite comical is Vicky and Heather parasailing
that
was
was
quite
really
comical because, Vicky in true Vicky form, she was on the trip with them, if you didn't know, and she is parasailing, screaming through the whole entire thing. So Heather, in, true Heather form, to try to bring this shenanigans down, she's like, listen, let's just go to a happy place. And I'm thinking, okay, where's the happy place going to be? She's like, let's go to the happy place. We're in Kodo Insurance and we're office supplies, and like she's naming like the most
like
random stuff of
memo pad,
memo pads and
pen.
legal papers and pens, and I'm like, I don't think it really worked, but it was like just comical on that
Yeah,
aspect because she was like, yeah, she's breaking my hand. She gets down and Vicky of course pukes over the side of the boat. So but my only thing though too is these girls were on this trip and they seemed like they had a lot of activities that they did. However, they chose not to show us 90% of what
yeah,
they did. Because they showed us like apparently the other girls were going to see the sea turtles and they were going parasailing. And you really didn't see, like, you saw them in the water a little bit. That was the only two little things that they showed that they did. Like, but what I'm
yeah,
saying is they showed them doing that, but they showed like Vicky and Heather going up, and then That was it. Like,
No,
there was
the other
nothing
girls
else.
didn't.
Like, so I
Maybe
don't
they
know if
didn't
the
go
other
up,
well, that's what
maybe?
I'm saying. I don't know if the other girls didn't do it. Did they do more? Like, it was very brief on any activities that they did in the and that's why I'm saying, like, even with New York, show a little bit of the activity.
Well,
Don't
they
show
didn't
a
do
little
any
up no,
activities,
I
those
know, but I'm
girls.
saying,
They
like,
said they weren't.
show, like, a little bit of an activity. Okay, then show a fight. Show whatever. I'm just saying, I
Regular, yeah.
just think it would instead of, like, meals, like you're saying, it's always a meal and
It's
there's a
always a meal.
fight at the
That's the other
meal.
thing. It's like they're not really doing much of an activity.
Yeah.
Where at least with Salt Lake, they did go. They broke it up and they went shopping.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They
Then they
did
went to the
do
meal.
some
Then today they had the trust building. Then they went back and they did the drag show. And then they went and they, like, they it did
yeah.
break up better because it wasn't so much of like eat, fight. Like, ugh,
The only other thing I have to say that I thought was, as a longtime watcher, was nice was there was a point in that one episode where they were at dinner and they were Vicky came for Jen and started saying things. She came for her and started saying stuff. The only thing that I appreciated was, as a longtime viewer and one that's been with Vicky from the beginning to the end, was that she finally admitted she made a mistake. She should have never left her husband, Don, I'm assuming this is who she was referring to, for Brooks.
yeah,
She actually admitted that and said she, made this big thing, which was a relief because the whole time through all of the seasons, she was adamant, and even outside of the seasons, that
yeah,
this was not a thing. So, like, to hear her finally say that, like, admit it,
yeah.
was refreshing. But, and to watch Gina try to go up against her, that was comical, but good effort. Good effort, Gina. She tried to go for her. But for the second episode, the finale, I think Gina threw a pretty fabulous party.
I think it was a cute idea. It was
Yeah,
something different.
it was for
And
Halloween.
you know what? I actually also really appreciated Emily and Taylor's costumes because they were something like different. Like Emily
Yeah.
was popcorn and
Yeah, well,
she was cotton candy.
I
I was like, that's cute. That's something
they
that's
did,
not just like
yeah, they
oh,
did have,
ringmaster and lion because everybody was that.
no, they did
And
have
then just
good,
and Tamara was randomly a clown.
they did have cute costumes. My one other thing that I had was the one-on-ones that happened. So we get to see Gina and Heather in the one-on-one, and Heather comes in pissed. Gina does a flip-flop as soon as she hears the information. Now, as we're like at the party, she shared her one-on-one, and then we get a little bit later on, we get Shannon referencing a one-on-one that nobody knows that
Oh
was a
my
one-on-one.
god, this
And we
pissed
don't
me
know
off.
when it was. They didn't give a
Literally. I have
timeline.
this note right here.
No timeline, no references to
Could have
when it
been last
was.
night, could have been 3 months ago, could have been a season ago,
Yep.
because they have the same fight all the time.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
the same one-on-one comes back again. But we have no idea where
no
this
where it
nope.
was.
But clearly Heather didn't talk to Shannon. She didn't talk to Tamara. So I'm assuming whatever the outcome was, it didn't pan out. They're trying to say that she's, again, like I said, rallying her troops. I think she's just trying to mend her
Yeah.
friendships.
Well, that's kind of what the season finale is. You're supposed to pull
Well,
it back
I think
together
she's been trying to
slightly
do this
before
the
the
whole
main.
time, and she showed like they showed like this animated thing where they showed how Tamara like is breaking down each one of her relationships, and she really is. She was picking them off one by one,
Yeah.
causing trouble. And I thought, like you were saying, it was nice to see her this is what I like about Jen. Jen came to her and said like X, Y, and Z. This is my scenario with you.
Well, yeah, because there was
Like
also
she
something
shared
we
it with the
didn't
girls.
see
Yeah, and yeah, there was a lot of weird
that
unstuff
she
that we
was
didn't
gonna come
see.
hang out in her room with her and Taylor,
Yeah, the whole
and she
van
was just gonna go
stuff.
get her soup,
Yeah, and she never came
and she
back.
never came back. And
I assumed she fell asleep
yeah,
as
and
well.
Heather said that. I fell asleep. That's what I would have assumed. Oh, she must have fell asleep. That's what I would have taken. And then yeah, there was something where she touched her feet in the van.
Yeah, but I will say she does approach her. Jen will approach people when instead of just like she said it to the girls, but she will go and approach her. And I thought their exchange, their little one-on-one was quite nice. It was
Well, yeah, because
honest.
I think Jen is like she really is good as a housewife because she does have so much common sense where it's like, listen,
She still
I get it. Like,
fights
yeah,
like
we haven't interacted
yeah,
much,
she fights
which
like a
is
normal
true.
person.
But she kind of goes with the like Jen's like, yeah, I don't think we would have really talked because I came in and my storyline's about a cheating and all this and who would want to talk about that, which is true because Tamara made it hard for Jen
Yeah.
to like really bond with these girls because her storyline is based on her past. And now if you don't want to speculate on this poor girl's past or
Yeah.
get involved in this drama or really, give too much on it, then you can be involved with Jen and her storyline this season because that's all Jen talked about was this cheating thing, which it is true. And Jen kind of like see she like had that idea of like, well, all I did talk about was cheating. So
Yeah,
if you don't want
no,
to be involved
nobody
in
got the
that,
chance to know Jen. They only got the chance to know Jen and Ryan and the issues that were at hand.
her
And it's
past.
very true. And that, yeah, like you said, she went right up to her and said, "Listen, I didn't get to know," and Heather didn't disagree. She's like, "No, I haven't really had any time, but the little time that the exchanges we have had, I thought were pretty good
Yeah.
and pleasant." So, I mean, who's to say where they're going? When I was listening to the Tamara's podcast, they alluded to the fact that she's okay with Heather now. I don't know what could have happened.
Yeah. Well, speaking
Who's
of that
to
podcast,
say?
Tamara was all worried in that pumpkin picking one about this episode she just did
Yeah.
with Teddy made comments. You were wrong. You were worried about the wrong podcast
Yep.
episode. Clearly, that's what you should have been thinking
Clearly
about.
she's listening. You said they do the end little scene where you
Yeah.
get all the little recaps. I mean, the recaps were better than what they normally are, I have to say, because usually they are really stupid.
Yeah.
They are
They
really
all had
like,
something that you kind of were like,
yeah,
you kind of
nonsense,
were gonna
but
get.
yeah.
No, but like something that you could get more information on.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know where Gina was gonna end. That she got her real estate thing.
Yeah.
Heather, they mentioned the HD thing. No, she showed us her home. They did show us a little bit of her new rental.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tamara's was. I don't even remember
I don't
seeing it.
remember Tamara's either. I'm sure it was there.
Yeah, I don't. Huh? That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember. But there was obviously no mention of, we thought maybe there would be like a blurb at the
Yeah, but I
end of
just think
Shannon,
probably
but
like the time to like
I mean,
revoke that
she
episode,
also
re-edit it, and put it out there was just not
could
enough.
have done if they wanted to, because that's only like one little thing. But
Yeah.
I think maybe she could have asked them not to, or who knows what the scenario was. But I'm sure we're gonna. She's got to talk about it at some stage of the game, because there's no way she's coming back next season and Gina is not mentioning it.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, then we know
Which
something.
one thing
This is
I felt like Gina should have mentioned more, which it looked like maybe she'll bring it up in the reunion. I just feel like she mentioned this CPS comment and it has gone
it
nowhere.
does
Like,
seem
get
like in
it,
the
girl, and
in
start fighting. What are you
it
doing?
does seem like in the coming attractions she does
But
bring
like
it
I'm
up
saying, for
again.
the point that they mentioned in the pumpkin patch, they went on this whole trip and
I
really
know.
like
Well, no, I
they,
think
they
this.
did talk about it a little bit,
I
but
think
it
she
wasn't
did.
much.
I think they kind of squashed it a little bit at one of the episodes.
But
I
I mean, it
think
has to come back up because now at the reunion,
no,
because
they'll
she's
talk
gonna see
about it
the
at the
clip
reunion.
of her
Yeah.
actually saying it.
No, they're gonna yeah, that's what I'm hoping is. That's what I'm hoping at this reunion. People see, like, they get, I hope they
They
pull the
saw the
clips
footage,
so
yeah.
that they can see, like,
But on the same hand, they're saying things right in front of them and they're not listening. So maybe visually
no,
will
but
work. Maybe they're not
I think
audible
it's
as
no,
on
but I
one
think
end.
it's different because listen, I'm watching a whole different group of women, the Kardashians, and there's a whole, as most people probably have seen because it's everywhere. Kim and Courtney are not, they're not simpatico, and they're claiming on the episode the reason that she's not is because now she's watching the episodes and she's seeing this one say that about that one, this one saying
Yeah.
that. And she's reliving it. And even Courtney is saying the problem here is it's like most people have a fight. They put it in the past and say they're going to move on from it. They actually move on
Well,
from
yeah,
it.
that's
They
what
don't
they
have to hear like another version of what went on. So like it brings up more questions. And I think
yeah.
that's what,
Well, that's what Housewives formula has always been to me is you fight, you'll make up
but
mostly
sometimes
by the
they
finale,
don't
and then
show
from
the
the finale,
footage though.
yeah, I
Sometimes they
know.
don't, and that
Recently
annoys
they haven't.
me.
Finale to reunion is when you watch the show and it re-drums up all the stuff for you to have a new fight at the reunion. And that's
Yes.
always what the formula's been to me.
That's why I can't figure out how Heather and Tamara are going to somehow get back. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I do hope
I feel like somebody
that
must
they're
have
gonna.
said something worse or something.
I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to get into Shannon quite a bit because there are a lot of comments that she didn't say, which she needs to be
Oh my,
held accountable for.
definitely. But is there footage about it? That's the thing. If there's no actual footage to prove certain things, then
Well,
I don't
saying
know.
like the CPS comment, we have all
Yeah, well,
that
that's a
stuff and
definite
things of
one.
that
Yeah.
nature. Like, and also the validation for Heather showing her, okay, she's here talking about this, she's here talking about this, and she didn't actually say anything bad.
If Tamara was smart, she would have kept her relationship intact with Heather because I think the reason she's latching on to Shannon so deeply is because it's that whole Trace Amigos thing and all like that.
Uh,
They think that's the angle to
keep them in.
keep them in.
Like, let's maybe. Can I?
But
I
here's
got
the
another
thing,
theory.
because when
Go.
you see them sitting at the very end, they both I think this. They're like, "Oh, I'm not going to let anything happen to our friendship ever again, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
let Heather Dubrow come between us." Which the sad thing is, I haven't seen Heather try to come between them,
I
not
feel like Heather
once
and them,
this season.
they have different. They're like friends, and then these have like a different kind of
Yes,
friendship. That
like I
it's
don't
not.
think
She's not gonna
no, and I
impede
don't
on
think
that.
Heather wants to be that kind of friend because that's not the kind of person she is, like a drunken fool on a bar. That's never going to be Heather.
No.
So like, I don't think you have to worry about those competitions.
I
Like
think the
that's the
only thing
thing.
that I could think is, and cast wise, Heather's getting paid probably quite a bit. They need to get rid of Heather so that money can go to Vicky, like in
I
like
don't
a
know.
budget wise.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I could think maybe like weirdly enough, like they want to have the Trace Amigas back in full effect. And Heather is probably a
But
higher up because she's been there
I think
for
if they thought that that was going to be a
general.
thing, then they would make it happen, obviously. But I don't
Maybe that's
know.
what they were trying. Maybe they thought ganging up on her would make her want to leave. And listen, send her on to Beverly
Well,
Hills.
I
That's what
think maybe
that's my thought.
if they thought they made her leave, like then they would open a spot for Vicky,
Yeah,
possibly. But
I don't
eh,
know. That's just I'm just tossing theories around
I
here.
don't know. We'll have to
Last
wait and
thought,
see.
Jen, do not make spaghetti casserole. Just make spaghetti. Like, what are you doing with that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel bad for because I'm like that too. I have my rotations, but I have a few more than
Spaghetti
three.
casserole?
I
Like,
have a few more than three. Luckily, they all seem to like it though.
no, I know, but I'm just saying, why make it into a casserole? Why not just make spaghetti and
I
like get
don't
some
know.
frozen store-bought meatballs or
I have
something,
no
Jen?
idea. Yeah, I got nothing for you, Jen.
Well, that's all for this episode. 5 episodes. They probably won't
Hmm.
be as long in the future just because we'll
Yeah.
be like
Oh no.
three and then OC's coming to an end, but I think Beverly Hills is getting close. Like we're getting close to them. So there's that.
And then who knows when New Jersey got to be coming soon. That's Christmas time usually. They're
Mm.
usually
Well,
Christmas
they're still
time.
filming a little bit, but you know what? They might take a little bit longer because they might be on like a slight pause because they're trying to figure out the Jennifer Aiden and Danielle stuff.
Yeah.
So there could be that issue. But Beverly Hills is next, and who even knows what they'll bring to the table?
I don't know.
But that's all for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening or watching. We do these every Monday. We're going back to just Mondays now. We're going to post every Monday of all the housewives that aired from the past week, basically. That's the plan.
It's a plan, man.
So we hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, leave us a good rating. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Don't give us a thumbs down. Instead, leave a comment telling us how we can improve. Subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any episodes. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Hit the 5 episode button, boys.